The continuous and bloodthirsty war between the Republic and the Separatists was one that divided opinion amongst the non-fighting population, with some believing that they were fighting for the right cause, and others believing that it was not worth the countless deaths. Even within the Jedi Order, there were questions amongst them as to whether they were growing too attached to politics, but the Jedi Knight Barriss Offee took her disapproval to the greatest of extremities. Deciding to make a stand against what she believed to be a fading, now evil Jedi, she carefully planned the bombing of the Jedi Temple, framing her Jedi companion Ahsoka Tano. After the victimized Jedi is captured, the Jedi fold to the demands of Admiral Tarkin, deciding to firstly expel her from the Jedi Order, then place her on trial in front of a Republic military tribunal. Only the efforts of her master Anakin Skywalker could stop her execution, following a successful pursuit of Barriss Offee. But what if Ahsoka's trial had been fair? Would it have changed her mind about leaving the Jedi Order? As you're about to discover, the impartiality of Ahsoka's trial will change the galaxy forever. Admiral Tarkin's holographic form stood in the centre of the council chamber, arguing that Ahsoka must be put in front of the Republic military tribunal. At that moment, the Jedi Knight Anakin Skywalker burst through the meeting, having just apprehended his Padawan. The temple guards blocking the entrance are pushed out of the way, and using his dark side energy, built up from the Jedi's lack of care to Ahsoka, he started to choke Tarkin through his transmission. Although the distance to the Admiral reduced its potency, Tarkin's throat was still constricting, until Windu ordered Anakin to stop. The Jedi Knight ignored the more senior Jedi, but Obi-Wan finally stepped in front of him, and declared that Ahsoka would be tried in front of the Jedi. Sazi Tin and Ki-Adi-Mundi disagree, due to the evidence against Ahsoka, and all turning to Yoda, the Grand Master looks to Anakin, and decides that they would firstly put Ahsoka on trial, before handing her over to the Republic. Anakin understood the instructions of Yoda, as it had given time to find the real perpetrator, and leaving Senator Amidala and Ahsoka to prepare their evidence, Anakin took his speeder and plunged down into Coruscant's underworld. The Jedi Knight could see the hooded figure of Ventress, and the former Sith assassin moved quickly to try and avoid his grasp, but jumping from the top of a bridge, he placed his lightsaber at her neck. The Night Sister briefly hesitated, before telling Anakin that Barriss had taken her lightsabers, so he cautiously went to the quarters of the Jedi Knight. Anakin soon sensed danger, and summoning the two blades of Ventress from a hidden corner, he ordered for his clone troopers he had placed on standby to arrive and take her to the Chamber of Judgment. The Jedi are about to expel Ahsoka from the Jedi Order when Anakin arrived with Barriss, much to the shock of Ahsoka and the Jedi, who had been expecting Ventress, and she proudly declared to the Jedi that she had done it to show that the Jedi were the source of real evil, and they were too embroiled in politics. Anakin is relieved that he had managed to arrive in time to ensure his Padawan would not stand in front of the Republic military tribunal, and returning to the Council Tower, the Jedi decide to make Ahsoka their newest knight. Reluctantly accepting the role, she suggested that Anakin should be given the rank of a Jedi Master, before returning to move her possessions to her new quarters. Although the betrayal of Barriss had been painful for the Jedi Knight, the words of Barriss towards the Jedi were what had caused the greatest concern, as she began to think that she had been correct about the Jedi Order. Against the wishes of her master and the Jedi, Ahsoka discreetly made a short journey to the Republic military base, and bypassed the patrolling Coruscant guard to see the real perpetrator behind the temple bombing. Ahsoka struggled but succeeded to control her anger towards Barriss, and forcefully asking her if there had been anyone else behind the attack, she denied the allegations, until Ahsoka saw the traitor's throat beginning to close. Turning around, all of the clone troopers were on the floor, and she managed to catch sight of a small shadow moving in a blur, and she pursued it, simultaneously calling for Anakin to help track down the attacker. But despite her immense agility, Ahsoka struggled to get past the blast doors, and piercing her blades through one that was closing, she felt a painful current pass through her as she lost grip on her lightsabers, then fell to the floor. Awoken several rotations later, the Jedi had examined the surveillance footage, and it was clear that a form of Sith lightning had been used to attack the Jedi Knight. The Jedi knew that it was not Dooku, as he would not dare to risk such a close encounter with the Jedi, and the Council realised that the former Jedi Master was merely an apprentice, and the Sith Lord was elusive. By returning to Barriss' cell to try and investigate the area, The imprisoned Jedi Knight had disappeared, and calling for all security on Coruscant to capture her, she was nowhere to be found. Even Jedi Master Terra Sunube could not find any trace of her in the underworld, and the Jedi left to wonder what her true motive had been before one of many communication clone officers interrupted them and revealed that they had intercepted a transmission from Count Dooku. That is it for part 1 of What If Ahsoka Had a Fair Trial. Please like this video, turn on that notification bell, click that subscribe button on this channel, as well as on my other channel What If Films, and as always, leave a comment on what if you'd all like to see next and how I can improve my videos. Thank you all very much for watching, and see you next time.